Hello everyone. This should be my final video update on the storm. Everything is looking like it's going to be in place. Uh, the models are closing off the storm below Long Island, New York City. So I did upgrade amounts in the Mid-Atlantic and going across eastern Long Island, and we'll go over that in a minute. But the track is pretty much set in place. GFS is still a little further to the east, but it's bringing the heaviest precipitation further west, which I predicted would happen. So everything is lined up pretty nicely. I don't think I need to go too much detail into the dynamics anymore and do any comparisons because everything seems to be pretty much in line. So here's the GFS. I'm just going to show quick to show you what happens. So here's the main trough. Location hasn't changed much. Actually, the GFS is more vigorous with it now, so it's really come in line with the NAM and the Euro more so than before. So it's a more vigorous trough. It's slightly further west, and the southern stream energy is curling north and west, and that didn't happen before. Now it is. So this southern stream energy will rapidly combine with the northern and eastern arm of the shortwave trough early Saturday morning. So this is late Friday night. So let's go ahead one. There you see it's starting to combine. Your storm is probably over here in the off the coast of Mid-Atlantic. The southern stream energy is wrapping into the main trough. And you go ahead one more into Saturday afternoon, and bam, the upper level low closes off just south of Long Island and Rhode Island. So remember yesterday I told you that the low was closing off over east of Cape Cod, but now it's closing off earlier, and the GFS did not have this yesterday. Now it does, and the other models have this too. So it's very important because that means the heavier snows can come further south now. All right, and so then it continues to close off and strengthen, and it moves to the north and east, and then it starts to weaken because it goes through a cycle of strengthening, being stable, and then weakening as it moves north and east. So those are the dynamics. And then if you go to the surface map, let's go all the way back. All right, so Saturday night, here's your storm. It's at 990. The storm isn't quite as strong. I think that makes more sense, though. They had it at like a 960 millibar low. That didn't make sense to me. But this solution now so makes sense. So late Friday night, you have your snows moving in to coastal Delaware, Maryland, even back into coastal Virginia, but not as much so there. But coastal Delaware and Maryland, I think you're going to get a bit of snow out of this. In fact, I upgraded you on my map, and I'll show that in a little while. But the one thing that came to mind last night to me, and this is one of the reasons I upgraded coastal Jersey and the area here, you typically get the heaviest precipitation when the low pressure system is in the strengthening phase. And it's going to be in a strengthening phase from being off the coast of the Carolinas up until Cape Cod. That's going to be the strengthening phase for this low pressure system. And so everybody to the west of that is going to get the heaviest precipitation. Now Maine and upper New England will still get a lot of snow, but the heaviest snow I think is going to be across central, southern New England and into the northern mid-Atlantic. I think that's where the heaviest snow is going to be. So let's go forward to Saturday afternoon. And now you can see that the GFS is bringing the precip shield all the way back further west, past the Catskills, like I said, into eastern Pennsylvania, and over the coast of New Jersey, Delaware. And you can see the darker blues making it into these areas as well, across Long Island, into the Connecticut, Rhode Island, and back towards Boston by the afternoon. And we now have a 982 millibar low. And then it goes down to 975 Saturday evening. Your heaviest snow is still on the coast, but it did make it back into coastal New Jersey. Now it's moving into central and northern New England. And again, the snow shield is further back here. The cutoff gradient is going to be steep. It's going to be somewhere in Vermont and then right along the Catskills. Albany might just get clipped by this. And then it moves up and down. You're down to 970, still strengthening. So now the heavy snow is in central and eastern New England by Saturday evening, still lingering over Long Island, Connecticut, and these areas here moving off the Jersey coast. And then Saturday night, it continues to strengthen, but not as much. It's going to start going through a little bit of a stable phase. And so now all your snow is in Maine late Saturday night, and then it goes out by Sunday. Okay, the final thing I want to show before I get to the precipitation map. Actually, there's a couple things. Not tropical tidbits, I'm sorry. Pivotal weather. Okay. Let's do the NAM for this. Let me just check something. Okay, good. I just wanted to check something. Okay. Alright, we're going to go regional. Alright, I just want to show the upward motion again like I did yesterday. Go through this really quick. So remember, darker reds and oranges means you're having strong upward motion. And that's where you're going to get the heaviest snow and potentially snow banding. So here we go. It's going to be hard for me to show the coast here. I'll scroll down to check as we go through, though. So this is the 700 millibar vertical velocity. Let's go to 6C Saturday. You have, look at this strong upward motion in the coastal New Jersey and Delaware and into Maryland. So you're going to be potentially banding snow here late Friday night tonight. And go ahead one more. And it moves into the Jersey coast and now over east central and eastern Long Island early Saturday morning. See these dark purples here. So this you'd probably be snowing pretty heavily at this point in time. And then Saturday afternoon. So it looks like you get more upward motion Saturday morning across New Jersey and going into New York City, and then again across Long Island. And then again, central and eastern Long Island, you're still in stronger upward motion, and now going into Rhode Island, Providence, Cape Cod, Boston, you have a strong area of upward motion across your area Saturday afternoon. So you'd be getting banding. It looks like anywhere from coastal Jersey onto mainly central and eastern Long Island, but definitely I could see banding going back to New York City as well. And then I would say central in Connecticut, eastward through Rhode Island down to Cape Cod, and then central Massachusetts down into Boston. And then you're going to go up more into Maine, where the upward motion will be strong, but not quite as strong. Okay, so it's pretty obvious that there's going to be strong upward motion and vertical velocity, so we're likely to get banding. And in those areas, that's where you're going to get stronger snow amounts. And the banding is more likely to occur in coastal Delaware and New Jersey, across Long Island, New York City, maybe, maybe not. I don't know if you're far enough east New York City, but you could be on the cusp of bands. But I would say it's more likely across Suffolk County. And then I would say maybe eastern Connecticut, Rhode Island, and then central eastern Massachusetts, Boston, and Providence are in that threat. Coastal New Hampshire, and then a good portion of Maine will get banding too. Okay, so let's look at the actually the other thing I got to show real quick before I forget is winds. So there's going to be some strong winds with this. And there are blizzard warnings in effect. So just really quick to show, this is in knots, but I'll convert it for you. So this is Saturday morning. So this is about 33 knots. So that's about 35 to 40 mile per hour sustained winds across eastern Long Island, going back 20 to 30 mile an hour sustained winds on the immediate coast here. You also have sustained winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour, maybe stronger than that, almost blizzard strength. There are blizzard warnings here. And then as you go into Saturday afternoon, you see those stronger winds making their way into the immediate coastal areas here. And then Suffolk County on Long Island, of course, is also getting sustained winds now of 30 to 40 miles an hour. And then along the coast here, you have the stronger 30 to 40 mile an hour sustained winds coming in as well. So I did just want to point this out because this is going to be more of a blizzard in that sense. So you're going to have to watch out for very strong winds. Okay, I'm going to be a little gutsy with my snowfall map here. So it's basically the same as yesterday. I changed a couple things. The first thing I changed was I brought the 6 to 12 all the way back to include most of Delaware, coastal Maryland, and most of New Jersey, actually. So obviously, away from the coast, you're going to be closer to 6 inches, but towards the coast, you're going to be closer to a foot. So I could see in in these in coastal Maryland, in Delaware, and so coastal central and eastern Delaware, and then I would say east of Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, and probably east of Trenton too. You're at a higher risk to get almost a foot of snow here, and then northern New Jersey and central New Jersey would also be on that cusp too for 6 to 12. And because of the upward motion along the coast, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody here in Ocean County or somewhere along the coast here picked up more than a foot. I don't have the 12 to 18 back into there, but I would not be surprised if somebody here along the coast picked up more than a foot, since the snow banding is going to be occurring. And then just to go back here, you have 3 to 6. Just Philly's on that line, but I would say Philly is like a 4 to 8 maybe. And then just west of Philly, you have 3 to 6. Central Maryland going up into eastern Pennsylvania, and then this might be a little overdone here because I think you're going to have a steep gradient. So these lines should actually probably be further east. The 6 to 12 line should be probably a little bit further east, but I would say that the 3 to 6 up here north into Vermont and central New York, this is more like a 2 to 4. I would say Albany is probably a 1 to 3. And again, this could probably be brought further east. It's going to be a steep gradient, and I only have so much room to write on a snowfall map. So I think these could probably be 50 miles east. These lines here. Down here, I think it's accurate. That's why it's so difficult. But up here, I think it could be further east. So this 1 to 3 might be more like a coding to an inch or two up here. But Albany, I would say 1 to 3. And then now we go to New York City. I'm going to have you. It's tough. I have you on the cusp of a foot. I think a foot is a good accumulation for New York City right now. So I don't have the 12 to 18 all the way back, but I think it's possible that you could get more than a foot depending on the banding. But I think a foot is a good reading for New York City right now, or like an 8 to 12. But don't rule out the possibility of more. And then you have 12 to 18 for, I would say, Queens County and Nassau County on Long Island. I have you in the 12 to 18. Again, banding could come in here, so that's why the 12 to 18 I think makes sense. Then you have Lower Hudson Valley, I would say 6 to 12, I think, for Lower Hudson Valley. And then Western Connecticut, 12 to 18. Central Western Massachusetts, 12 to 18. And then going up into most of Maine, 12 to 18. Now, I had 18 and 24 coming all the way up here yesterday into Maine, but the reason I do not now is because as the low comes up, it's going to stabilize, and you get most of your precipitation in the strengthening phase, as I mentioned. So I actually think you're still going to get a lot of snow in Maine, but I don't know if it's going to be quite as strong as I mentioned yesterday. But I could be wrong. We'll see. And now we have 18 to 24 plus. And here's the big change I've made. I've brought this further west based on the track of the storm and the strength and when it is strengthening. So now I have Suffolk County in Long Island, 18 to 24 inches, with higher amounts possible in snow bands. Only snow band. If snow banding doesn't occur, then 18 to 24 inches is probably what you're going to get. Same thing for this whole area, 18 to 24 inches. Only higher amounts if snow banding occurs, which it should, but you don't know where the bands are going to set up. But somewhere in here, it is possible to get more than 2 feet, possibly somewhere in this region that I've outlined. So Boston's 18 to 24, Providence 18 to 24, Cape Cod 18 to 24, and then southern Maine and eastern and southern New Hampshire 18 to 24. Worcester would probably be on the cusp of 18 to 24, so you would just be on the cusp of it. So you could get a foot and a half. I probably wouldn't put you at 2 feet, but maybe a foot and a half. And then Hartford 12 to 18. And so that pretty much sums up the map. I'm being a little gutsy here. I'm a little uncomfortable with this 18